Hey, shalom, shalom, all praises, honor, glory goes to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rechak, Wadash, double honors to apostles, bishops, elders, the great millstone, well, peace and blessings to you fellow brothers pushing out this word, and truth and sincerity, Chnak, coming back with another lesson through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rechak, Wadash, shalom, shalom to the Lord's elect, okay? This is going to be a video, a class, a tutorial on lavender, okay, and how to use lavender medicinally for your particular ailment. So we'll go through, it's going to be a simple class. It's not going to be super in-depth, but I want for you to walk out of this or after this video to have a little deeper understanding on lavender and its properties and what it can do for you. And what we'll do today is we will be doing the tea. Okay, we'll be making lavender tea. Two different ways how to make lavender tea depending on how much lavender you need. And then also we will be making the tincture as well. So before I start making the tea and everything like that, let's go into the properties of lavender and what lavender is used for medicinally. Okay, why am I talking about lavender? Well, lavender is a great herb. Me personally, I really love lavender. It's an underused herb medicinally. We know that it relaxes. That's kind of the gist or the understanding of lavender, which it is a relaxing herb. But lavender is all around us. You even have people that grow lavender for landscape, but it can also be used medicinally for a lot of different ailments. Okay, lavender, the Latin name, Lavandula officinalis. I believe that's the main version that we're going to have here in the United States. But there's also other species. Okay, there's some from Egypt. There's a couple different species, but they're all going to work the same. Okay, one thing you notice about lavender is you can smell lavender. Okay, people buy the lavender essential oil. Okay, so that lavender smell, even just smelling the essential oil, can calm you, can relax you. Okay, and in the case of lavender, a lot of its medicinal properties is in the aromatic. The oil that's in lavender. Okay, so lavender as a plant, it has oil in it. Okay, and when you smell that plant, you're smelling the oil. But within that oil, the constituents within that oil, okay, different compounds, they bring on a relaxing effect, as well as lavender is used for mild pain. Lavender is used for relaxing tension in the body. Okay, lavender is used for sleep problems. Okay, lavender also can be used for problems as far as memory, poor memory. Okay, and generally lavender is used as it's a mild herb. Okay, it's a mild relaxing herb. Not necessarily, not saying that it's not strong. Mild doesn't mean not strong. And remember, when you're going to remedies, you never really want to go to the strongest remedy first. You want to go to the mild, readily available remedy. And if that remedy can get the job done, you don't need the strong remedy. You only move to the strong remedy unless you know what you're doing, or you're advanced, or the mild remedy is not giving exactly what you need. Okay, so lavender, we know that it relaxes. But what is it? What can it be used for? Okay, I have some notes here just to make sure that I go through as much things as I can. And generally, how lavender was understood is anytime there is a issue within the nervous system. Okay, we hear about that, the nervous system. The nervous system, right? And we're not going to get too scientific. We're just going to speak very simple and plain. Okay, the nervous system pretty much governs every function in our body. Every function, the nervous system governs that. And when there's a breakdown, okay, in that nervous system, that can express in many different ways. Okay, digestive problems. Okay, there's a lot of times there is a nervous element, meaning the nerves that control digestion, they're out of balance. Okay, women with hormonal problems. Okay, the nerves control those systems. Okay, a lot of times there is a nervous element, the nerves are imbalanced. So you'll have these PMS symptoms. Anxiety, lavender is used for anxiety. That's a nervous system remedy. So anytime there's a need for relaxation, anytime there's a need for relaxing tension, anytime when there's too much excitement in the nervous system, that can be expressed in anxiety and mood disorders. Okay, fluctuations in mood. 1 minute you feel this way, the next minute you feel down, or the up and downs. Okay, poor concentration. Okay, when there's poor concentration, there's anywhere there's too much fidgeting in the body. Ultimately, all your nervous system remedies, whether it's chamomile, whether it's lemon balm, whether there's strong remedies like hops or valerian or vervain or kava, passion flower, they're all going to work on relaxing tension within the nervous system. And then of course they'll work on different other systems as well. Okay, but anytime you need relaxation, okay, anytime when your mood is not stable, there's anxiety. Also, lavender is mildly depressant. Okay, so it will relax you, but it'll also lift your mood. Okay, it's gonna just give you a more general state of well-being. Okay, as well as start to correct and balance out those nervous tensions within the body. It could be too much cramping. Okay, there could be spasm. Now this is a mild remedy. Okay, so it's safe. I like lavender because it's safe for the young children, as well as the older individuals. And if you give somebody too much lavender, all it would do is just make you too drowsy. That's pretty much going to be the side effect of lavender. This is how you know that you took too much, unless you want that effect. If you're taking it at night for insomnia, or you just want general relaxation, you will take lavender. Okay, so traditionally and historically, it was used for what you would call nervous exhaustion and nervous debility. Now, exhaustion doesn't mean that you're tired. Okay, exhaustion, and we'll go through some notes. Okay, what is nervous exhaustion? Like I said earlier, the nervous system controls all the functions in our body. Okay, how does nervous exhaustion and debility, how is this expressed? Okay, it can be expressed in chronic stress and worry. So you worry a lot, the mind is racing a lot. That's a nervous system issue. Okay, grief, fear. Okay, emotional trauma. That's a nervous system issue as well. Okay, things are not balanced. Okay, mental overwork. Okay, you have individuals that either they physically work a lot, or they work a lot with their mind, and their mind it just goes. It cannot be turned off. Lavender is a really good remedy for that. This is nervous exhaustion. This is nervous debility. Okay, the nervous system is not balanced. Okay, chronic illness and pain. Okay, that also is expressed in nervous exhaustion, nervous debility, which you'll get anxiety. You can have depression. You're always in pain. You're always worrying. Okay, lavender is a great herb for all these different issues. Okay, a lack of restorative sleep, not necessarily just a lack of sleep, but restorative sleep. Some people can sleep, but they cannot be. They don't wake up restored, refreshed. Okay, lavender is a herb that can be used, okay, to start to bring that system back into balance. Okay, physical overexertion, excess use of stimulants and alcohol. Okay, here in the Western world, stimulants like coffee, like caffeine, they're overused. Okay, and coffee, on the other hand, coffee is a nervous system stimulant. Okay, lavender is a nervous system relaxant. Okay, so you see how there has to be a balance there, and overstimulation can cause too much excess within the nervous system, which within that excess, this expresses in multiple different elements. Okay, digestive problems, heart problem, palpitations. Okay, cramping. All right, muscle spasms, muscle aches. Okay, PMS. It can express in many lack of sleep, lack of restorative sleep, insomnia, anxiety, depression. So you can see how this herb can be used for a whole host of ailments. I didn't say it cures anything. Okay, it's supportive. Think of lavender as supportive because there's many reasons why there's an ailment. It's not just one thing. It's not just one herb. Sometimes one herb can solve the problem. Okay. All right. Brain fog, poor concentration, mental fatigue, anxiety, irritation. Okay, you just you just wake up, you just feeling irritated. Your nervous system is out of balance. Okay. A low motivation, your nervous system is out of balance. Okay. Emotional sensitivity, people that are just emotionally sensitive, your nervous system is out of balance. Okay. Difficult sleeping, your nervous system is out of balance. Okay. Light or restless sleep, your nervous system is out of balance. Waking unfreshed, you don't feel fresh when you wake up. Your nervous system is unbalanced, okay? A tight neck, shoulder, muscle tension, trembling, poor endurance. You're always tired all the time. There's always a nervous system element to any disease state, okay? So we don't have to pretty much go too deep into that. Why use lavender? Okay, lavender is known as a tonic to strengthen that system, okay? The nervous system controls every organ system, every function in your body. And when that breaks down, it becomes irritated. It becomes stressed out. It does not fire its signals the correct way. All right, so you can have digestive problem. And yes, you take bitters. You take carminatives. You see what I'm saying? You eat clean. But what if the nervous system is damaged? So this is why we would take nervous system remedies, okay? It also helps with relaxation, which is going to help with relaxing and not being so sensitive to pain, okay? So now we got through that, okay? Hopefully you're still here. We're going to go through 2 ways to make this tea, okay? A daily tonic dose and then a stronger standard infusion, which can be used. I generally wouldn't use a standard infusion with a stronger dose for a long period of time, but it all depends on your condition, okay? Would I just use lavender by itself in a disease state? Not necessarily, but if you just had lavender, you can do that, or if you have access to lavender. Remember, we're coming into a time we won't have access to all those remedies. Right now we have those remedies, okay? And then we make the tincture. I love the tincture because you can concentrate the strength of lavender in alcohol, okay, and you can preserve it for a long time, okay? So make this tincture as well, okay? And we'll go through that. The first thing we're going to do, we're going to do a we're not going to do standard, a tonic dose. What do I mean by tonic dose? Okay, well, when we think of the word tonic, we think of the word tone, right? For example, we go to the gym one time and we lift weights or we do cardio. Are you going to get in shape? No, you have to continue to do it. And by doing those workouts every single day, what happens? You strengthen whatever body part, whether it's the cardiovascular system, whether it's the skeleton, whatever it may be, you're getting in shape. You want abs? You don't just do 1,000 abs one time and you got 1,000 abs. No, you do a little bit over a long period of time. So this is what this dose, your tonifying dose, which is going to strengthen the nerves. Okay, so how would this help you? Well, less anxiety, less depression, better sleep, better mood. Okay, less irritation, more calm, more focus, less brain fog, less menstruation problems, less mood problems, okay? Better sleep, deeper sleep. But it takes time, okay? It takes time for the body to get back into balance. Now, it could be other things that are associated with, why you have those issues, but we can at least start with the nervous system, okay? Perfect. All right. So I'm using a French press, okay? But you can use, if you have a tea bag or you have the metal mesh infusers, you can do that. It doesn't matter. Or you can strain it afterwards with a strainer. No problem, okay? I have the hot water. Let me keep that going. Okay, now let me give you the dose. Okay? The dose is going to be 1 or 2 teaspoons. 1 or 2 teaspoons. Okay, steeped in 8 ounces of water, 10 to 15 minutes in a covered vessel. Okay? 1 to 2 teaspoons steeped in 8 ounces of water in a covered vessel for 10 to 15 minutes. You're going to strain that. You can sweeten it if you want it, and then you're going to drink that 3 times daily. 1 to 3 times daily, depending on how much of the medicine you need. Remember, everybody is different. I thought I had a teaspoon. Let me get a teaspoon. Okay. Okay, I have my teaspoon. I'm going to prepare it with 2 teaspoons. Okay? 1, 2. This is the whole lavender flower. If you have the powder, you could do a half to 1 teaspoon. Okay? A half to 1 teaspoon of lavender powder. Okay? And you can prepare it the same way. Alright? So I'll put my 2 teaspoons in there. I got my hot water. I'm going to pour about 8 ounces of water. 6 to 8 ounces. Okay. You want to immediately cover that. Remember how I was telling you how a lavender, like the essential oil, the smell, a lot of the properties are in the smell, is in the oil of the plant. When you steep this without the cover, you let the steam go, you let a lot of the medicinal properties go for it. So generally all your teas, you want them in a covered vessel. Okay. 10 to 15 minutes. 10 to 15 minutes. You let that steep, you strain it out, and you drink that. You're going to do that 3 times daily. Now, you could prepare this beforehand. All your doses. You could put, what is it? 2 teaspoons per dose. So 2, 4, 6. You could put 6 teaspoons in 24 ounces of water. Steep that 10 to 15 minutes. Strain that. And then you can divide that 3 times a day. Okay, and you can drink this hot, and you can drink it cold. Okay? Never boil lavender. Okay? Never boil lavender. You always do an infusion. All right, so this is your tonic infusion. Any of those things that I was saying, that nervous exhaustion and nervous debility, the lack of sleep, the irritation, the anxiety, you'll really notice those that suffer from anxiety, which is a nervous system issue. Other things are associated with too, but a lot of it is in the nervous system. There's irritation. Lavender can go in and can start strengthening it. Now, it needs time to work, but generally, if you drink this, you will feel a sense of relaxation. Now, this is not a super strong dose, which you don't need a super strong dose. Okay, if you go into the gym and you put on 315, okay, so let's say you did hit it. You can't, that's not how you do things, right? You're not going to get big by just hitting it one time, but say you put on, 225s, you hit a whole bunch of reps and you keep doing that, then you can build up. Then you're still going to get strong. So you don't need a super strong dose when you're doing this long term to strengthen. Okay? But I'm going to show you the standard infusion of a stronger dose because sometimes you do need a stronger dose of the medicine. Remember, the cure is in the dose, the poison is in the dose. If you take too much of lavender, what's going to happen? You're just going to be drowsy. You're going to feel tired. This is how you know you took too much. So I did 2 teaspoons, right? Say I'm doing 2 teaspoons. I'm drinking my tea 3 times a day. And then say a couple of days in, and I'm like, man, I'm kind of tired. I'm feeling pretty tired. I don't know what's going on. Okay, well, you're probably taking too much. Okay, there's a couple of things that you can do. You can either do one, you can drop down your doses and maybe only do 2 doses, or even 1 dose, or you can drop it down to 1 teaspoon 3 times daily. And I would start there. I would start with 1 teaspoon 3 times daily, okay, and I would do that 6 weeks straight. 6 days you drink it, 1 day you stop, just like the Sabbath. You rest 1 day, not drink it, okay? And you have to be consistent, just like if you're going to the gym and you want to get the body you want, or you want to stay in shape, you have to be consistent. This is how the herbal medicine works, okay? So do this 4 to 6 weeks, okay? And then pause and say for a week and say, okay, is it helping me, right? And then jump back on it for another 4 to 6 weeks. If lavender is in your protocol, if the spirit is on you to take lavender, there could be a number of different nervous system herbs, but we're doing lavender, okay? So this is the tonic dose, 1 to 2 teaspoons 3 times daily, okay? High-strung people, irritation, mood swings, pain, right? Give it time to work. Anxiety, give it time to work, and you'll notice a difference. You'll just feel more relaxed. You feel more calm. You just feel more chill. Okay? You'll feel more focused. Okay? So now let's go to the standard infusion. What is a standard infusion? Okay? In Western herbalism, okay, during the late 1800s, mid to late 1800s, a group of physicians started to standardize herbal medicine, okay, namely the eclectics, okay, and the physiomedicalists. They started to standardize because there was a problem with everybody was doing their own thing, and it can work, but when you're dealing with a lot of different people and you're trying to find out what is doing what, and these group of physicians were working together, they was like, okay, this is standard, this is the dose, this is how you do it, okay, and this will give us a great idea of how to titrate, whether we need to increase the dosage or we need to decrease the dosage, okay? So everything was standardized. So this is a standard infusion, okay, a standard infusion. You need a liter mason jar. A liter is 4 cups, okay? At least this one. You get a big one too, but you need at least a jar that is this big that can hold 4 cups, okay? You need a scale, all right? Turn that on. You can use grams or you can use ounces, okay? There's 28 grams in an ounce, okay? But we're gonna round it up. We're gonna do 30 grams, or we can just put it to the ounce, 1 ounce. So I'm gonna measure out 1 ounce of the herb. Now you're gonna see, when you measure out 1 ounce of the herb, it's a lot more than 1 or 2 teaspoons. Okay, this is more medicinal. This is more stronger medicine. You might want to go this route, but again, if you do that, you need to buy lavender by the pounds. You need to buy a pound of lavender at least. A pound of lavender is only going to last you like 2 weeks. So if you're going to work with lavender, you know, say you wanted to work with lavender for, in a higher dosage, and I'll adjust it. You're going to need a couple of pounds. I will buy a couple of pounds. It's not that much, okay? It's not that much. And I'll do a video going to my bulk suppliers that I use, okay? So, a standard infusion, okay, is a stronger infusion. We're going to steep it longer, okay, and we're going to use a lot more of the herb, okay? In this case, let's go the strongest route that we can take. We're gonna measure out 1 ounce of the herb. Okay. I'm gonna let you see that. I'm gonna give you the difference. Okay. You see, this is a teaspoon of the herb. This is an ounce of the herb. Okay? See that? This is an ounce of the herb. Teaspoon. Now, you're not going to be consuming that all in one go, but you can see how it's a lot more medicinal. Or if there's not necessarily medicinal, but it's a lot stronger. It's a stronger dosage. And you might want that stronger dosage. It all depends what you need. Okay? So, for every 1 ounce of herb, all right, we're going to use 1 liter of water, 4 cups. Okay? For every 1 ounce of herb, you're going to use a liter of water, which is 4 cups. Okay? I'm going to let this go. So basically, you're going to pretty much pour it up to the top. Okay? You're pretty much going to pour it up to the top. All right? So we'll let that go. All right, boom. Now we're going to pour it. Remember, I was telling you, you need to put a lid on it. It's hot, so just gently shake it just to get that agitated. Okay. This is a standard infusion. We put 1 ounce of the dry herb of lavender flower. We put 4 cups of water. Okay? A standard infusion, you're going to let it steep for 30 minutes. 30 minutes, you're going to let it steep. Can you steep this longer? Yes. You can do a medicinal steep. A medicinal steep is going to be 4 hours. It's going to be really strong. You're going to taste the bitterness in the lavender. Okay, it's going to be a lot stronger. Okay? Will I say it's necessarily better? Maybe, it just depends, but you need at least 30 minutes, okay? 30 minutes steep. Okay, what's the dosage here? After this is done, steeping for 30 minutes, how do you take it? Well, now you're going to strain out the liquid. Okay, clean out the jar. Put the lavender tea back in it, okay? And then if you need to add water to bring it back up to 4 cups. So add water to bring it back up to 4 cups, okay? And for those that are taking the standard infusion route where you're going to drink more of the remedy, okay, the dose is 4 to 8 ounces. 4 to 8 ounces, okay? 1 to 4 times a day, but it's really 3 to 4 times a day, depending on how much you need. You can have people that are really high strung with a lot of anxiety, a lot of tension, a lot of pain, insomnia, mind racing, like you're really jacked up. And you need a stronger remedy. Okay? 4 to 8 ounces, 3 to 4 times a day. So, meaning, if you are going to drink, you can drink this throughout the day. Once this is done, those 4 cups, you will space that out at least 4 hours apart, and then you'll drink that. You'll drink that 3 to 4 times a day. That's a lot of the medicine. You're going to be drinking a lot of the You're going to be drinking a lot. You're going to need a lot of lavender. Okay. So you can do that route too. Try that route too. That is an option if the tonic dose is not really giving what you need at first. What I would do if it's extreme is I would do this, but then once I start to feel better, once this becomes too strong for me, I would get off of the standard dose and I would now start the tonic dose. You see what I'm saying? So you do a lot in the beginning. You might do this for 2 weeks. You might do it. You might do it for 4 weeks. This all depends. It all depends on you. Some people can take more of it. For some people, this will be too much. it'll make you too drowsy. It'll slow down. It'll slow down the mind too much. It'll give you what they call dullness. It'll like a dull in the mind. Those are all side effects that you don't want. That means you're taking too much of the remedy. So maybe you can do this for a week. Just see how you feel. I will start at the lowest dose possible, and then I will move up. And then when that's too much, then you start bringing it down, and then I will go to the tonic dose. Okay? If you're doing the tea. So I'll give you the option with the tea. Okay? But if you want to do the tincture, okay, the tincture is generally going to be stronger. Why? Because it's going to be able to extract deeper into the lavender in which the water can't. So within every plant, all right, you have extraction ratios. You have water extraction, you have alcohol extraction, you have oil extraction, and then you have acid extraction. Okay? Lavender has a lot of oil in it. So this is why lavender extracts really well in oil. You have essential oil. You can make an actual oil with lavender, and you're going to smell it. So because lavender is an oily plant. Now, oily plants also, you need alcohol to extract. You can extract oily plants with alcohol. And generally the tincture is going to be stronger because the tincture is going to be able to extract water soluble and alcohol soluble. So you're going to be able to get deeper into that lavender plant, okay, and it's going to concentrate in a tincture. So this is this is a blend, but it has lavender in it. And then you'll take that. You need less of it to get a stronger effect than the tea. But you know what? The tea is powerful too. I like both of them. Okay, so you can do a number of both. Maybe you drink 1 cup a day, and then you take the tincture. It all depends. So now we're going to make the tincture. Okay. So we're going to do lavender. We're going to do a 1-to-5 ratio. So if you make the tincture, do a 1-to-5. But doing lavender in a 1-to-5 maceration can be a little bit tricky because it's a flower. It's fluffy. It takes up a lot of space, a lot of it's density. So the ratio might not be 1-to-5. So we'll go through that. Let me bring it a little closer for you. Okay. Let me bring it a little closer and bring it down. Okay, that's good. All right. I'm gonna do a 1 ounce. So a 1-to-5 ratio means for every 1 ounce of herb, we're gonna use 5 fluid ounces of our alcohol, or what they call a menstruum. So with lavender, 50% is good, and today we're gonna use 50% because this is what I have on hand. We're gonna use 50%, and that is that you can do that. That's acceptable. 50% is acceptable, but lavender really likes 65, 70% because it has a lot of oils, and high alcohol percentage is needed to extract the deep essential oils or the aromatics in a plant. So also you can put a little 10% vinegar in, not vinegar, but 10% glycerin too. That's a different video, okay? But I already measured out 1 ounce of herb, so I'm only going to do a 1 ounce. So that means we're going to use 5 fluid ounces, okay, of alcohol. So I'm going to put that in there. Okay, a little all over the place, but it's all good. And now we're going to measure out 5 fluid ounces of alcohol. But you're gonna see something. You're gonna see that it's not fully gonna cover it, and I'm gonna let you see this. Okay. So let's go 5 fluid ounces. Now, as you can see, you see that it does not fill up. It doesn't come on top. It has to be on top. Okay? So a 1-to-5 doing maceration with lavender is really hard to do. So you have to do a higher ratio, okay, in order to fully do the lavender tincture correctly, okay? So let's do this. Let's do a 1 to 10. So we're gonna put 10 fluid ounces. So I already put 5, so I'm gonna put 5 more, okay? Okay, that's a little better. And I'm gonna use a spoon to kind of push everything down. But you can see that it's still not fully submerged. I mean, it will go down more, right? It would go down more. But you can see how certain plants, a 1 to 5 ratio is almost impossible, okay, to do with particular plants, especially light, fluffy plants, like flowers, like lavender, okay? Now, this is not acceptable for me. So we'll go 5 more fluid ounces. This is a 1 to 15. That's a very, really, it's a weak ratio. But we're gonna get around that. I'm gonna show you how. So we'll do another 5 ounces. Okay. This is a lot more acceptable for me. And now we'll go down. Okay. That's a lot more acceptable. Once this starts soaking, this will come down. Okay. But just to be sure, we'll do 5 more. And I'm doing this for a reason, because certain plants require, if you're doing macceration, they require more alcohol, which is going to be a higher, which is really a weaker percentage or weaker ratio. And this is more of a folklore method, okay? But I'm gonna show you how to get around that. All it is, you need to just dose higher, okay? But I like this. This is fine to me. This is totally fine. Okay? Let's put a top on it. And you're gonna gently shake this daily. Just make sure everything is under. This is gonna come down, okay? So you can either do a 1 to 15 or a 1 to 20 ratio, okay? In this case, it's a 1 to 15. So I'm gonna write the label, lavender. 1 to 15 at 50%. And then the date. All right. Okay. So you see that. I'm okay with that. 1 to 15. Meaning for every 1 ounce of herb, we use 15 fluid ounces. Now, as far as extraction ratio to be concerned, that is weak tincture if we're just using a dropper tincture, right? This is a 1 to 5. If you took, say you're done with this tincture, and you took just 1 dropper full of that tincture, that 1 to 15 ratio, will you feel something? Yes. Absolutely. You will feel something. Bear with me. Okay. You will feel something. Okay. But since this is a weaker ratio, okay, you're gonna need more of the tincture. So how do we dose this tincture? We're gonna dose this tincture in teaspoons. Okay, teaspoons. So you can dose this tincture 1 to 1.5 to 2 teaspoons 3 times daily. Okay, not dropperfuls. If you put it in a tincture dropper, you need 5 dropperfuls. You need 5 milliliters. 5 milliliters. At least. At least. Okay? So once you made this tincture, if you made it the maceration way, okay, either you're going to put 15 fluid ounces or 20 fluid ounces. And your dose is going to be 1 teaspoon to 2 teaspoons, okay, to maybe 2.5 teaspoons 3 times daily. Okay? Or you can buy a lavender tincture, you know, from like a Whole Foods or Sprouts or Amazon to get you started if you want to do the tincture. And then from there, if you're going to do that, okay, you're going to take at a 1 to 5, if it is a 1 to 5 ratio, okay, 1 to 3 milliliters 3 times daily. Now, that's more on the moderate, low, the high end of dosing. I've seen 5 drops. 5 drops 3 times daily work. 5 to 10 drops. A lot of times, that's all people need. Okay, and that's more of a long-term tonic dose. It's not going to depress too low. It's not going to dull too low. So the moral of the story is you have to find your dose. So I gave you some dose ranges to play with. If you're doing a 1 to 15 or a 1 to 20 ratio tincture, you're going to have to dose with teaspoons if you made it this way. It's almost impossible to make a 1 to 5, okay, a 1 to 5 lavender maceration. You have to use other methods to make a 1 to 5, okay? And I'll show those methods on a different video. It's a little bit more advanced extraction, okay? So teaspoon, remember these doses. At least a teaspoon to 2 to maybe 3 teaspoons, 2.5 teaspoons 3 times daily to get the medicinal strength. But you can play around with the doses. Okay, you take a little bit and then you see how you feel. All right, and if it's starting to relax you, then it's good. If you need a little bit more, you go up, and then you find your own dose. If you buy a tincture and it's at least a 1 to 5, 1 to 4, okay, you're gonna do on the lower end 5, 10 to 15 drops 3 times daily. You're gonna see how that makes you feel. Are you getting too tired? Or you go up if you need a stronger dose. Say a lot of insomnia, a lot of anxiety, a lot of tightness, a lot, 1 to 3 milliliters. Okay? 3 times daily. All right, so I hope, this helped. It was a little in-depth, okay? But after this class, I hope that you have a little bit more deeper understanding on lavender and the different elements that can be used. All right, or the lavender and how it can be used with different elements. Okay, so until next time, shalom to the left.